has the Israeli film industry, when it comes to genre, has it all changed because of Big Bad Wolves and Rabies and, you know, Navot and Aaron doing their film?
It's starting to change now.
There's
There's a new generation. You can feel in the last few years there's a new generation of Israeli filmmakers, who are not just interested in, you know, heavy dramas, political dramas, socialist dramas, and more into genre movies. With all due respect to those to drama and, you know, these kind of movies, there's a new generation of filmmakers, which is we're proud to be part of.
People are not afraid anymore, I think, to explore, because of the technology, that it became more cheaper and accessible, and a lot of talented guys can do amazing CG work in their home, and people I think started being afraid, and started exploring new genres.
Where did the idea for Jerusalem come from? I mean, what was the starting point?
Actually, for years we were going around in our heads with this idea that we love horror movies and genre movies, and we saw a lot of apocalyptic movies, and when we thought to ourselves, how come nobody ever did a movie about the perfect setting for apocalyptic movie, which is Jerusalem? And I'm not talking about World War Z, which is a very Hollywoodic Jerusalem, which, by the way, wasn't shot in Jerusalem, it was shot in Malta. And for us as Israelis, we see this movie, it's a great movie, I love this movie, but, you know, it's not really Jerusalem. We wanted to make, and we want to deal with the apocalypse starting in Jerusalem.
And every time we find ourselves walking the streets of the old city of Jerusalem, we always said it's such an amazing location. You can feel history all around you.
When did the Google glasses? Because that to me, when I first heard about this, I thought, oh God, you know, found footage. But the Google glasses thing is just a stroke of genius. It is just a brilliant way of doing it.
The thing is, we always thought about it. We had in our mind, after thinking about dealing with Jerusalem, we wanted to make a movie with a POV kind of movie, to show what's it like to be a tourist, a backpacker tourist, not the Jerusalem you see in National Geographic and the postcards, the real Jerusalem, when we're coming to South America and we see a city there, what's it really like, you know, to sleep in the youth hostel and to see the underground life of the city, which we really like, you know, exploring. So we wanted to make a POV movie which shows Jerusalem. And then we read about Google Glass and this smart technology, the wearable technology, and we thought, so this is a perfect way of not just telling a story, a POV story or a POV technique, it also gives us a technological layer and a different kind of storytelling where we can use social media and Facebook and you know, all these things that can tell a story in a different way.
And it's such a great tool that you have all the other actors just looking at the camera, which is amazing. You know, for them it was so difficult because they are used not to look at the camera. And we always needed to shout to them, look at the camera.
We had a hard time dealing with the actors that you need to look through the camera and speak to the character, the protagonist, and not like they used to, like they were trained to.
Because you do know it's building up to that last shot where they're going to. You just know that's going to happen. But I mean, it's so brilliant, though. So brilliant. But that's what's so good about it. I mean, I thought you had a scale to the film that was quite amazing to look at. I mean, with the giant monsters and the angels. I mean, it was just so beautifully done.
Thank you.
Really, I mean, was that difficult? I mean, to conceptualize and.
It was very difficult. Obviously, it's in indie movies. You know, the production was not easy, and shooting in Jerusalem is not very easy. It's very complicated.
I was going to ask you that. I mean, surely you must have done that on secretly because they wouldn't have let you do it.
Exactly. Shooting in Jerusalem is we see Jerusalem. Everybody sees Jerusalem as like a barrel of explosives. It's everything is very delicate there. You know, the Muslim quarter and the Jewish quarter. Everything, they live together, and that's what makes the city so interesting. But yet so. It's very delicate to shoot there, and security reasons, of course. So we didn't have the money to close streets and to bring police and, you know, to have all these security issues. So we just did it under the radar. We had no choice.
So we had permission to shoot a documentary. We went to the most holiest places in the old city with permission to shoot documentary, but actually we were shooting a fiction drama. And
so what's going to happen when they find out that you actually...
Good question.
I think maybe some rabbis are going to be very mad at us. I hope they don't have a good lawyer.
I mean, what's going to happen when it actually opens in Jerusalem? It's going to be really interesting to see what the reaction is.
Yeah, actually, the interesting thing, we screened the movie in Jerusalem Film Festival, which the theater was located in. It's called Gei Ben Hinnom, which is Gehenna. It's in the scriptures, in the prophecy of dry bones, where everybody's talking about the apocalypse in the Bible, happens there. So people saw the movie and went out the door and were in the place where Gehenna starts, when the apocalypse starts. So it's really, I think it's a good thing to screen it in Jerusalem.
And tell me a bit about the actors. I mean, why did you choose those? Yeah, specifically from the American point of view as well.
Well, the main character is Yael Groberglass. Well, and now she's pretty famous because she's playing in Jane the Virgin. You know, they're shooting season 2. And she's an Israeli, but she has a great American accent, and she's so pretty, and she has these big, staring eyes, and we just loved her. She also played a bit in Rabbi. She had a part in Rabbi, so she has this history of horror films, and we just loved her. And after casting her, we built the other cast around her. Daniel Jadlin and Yom Tumarkin, which is a very famous actor in Israel, which is was a problem for us because when we were shooting in the old city and we tried to keep it low profile, all of a sudden a school bus full of teenagers noticed him.
It was like zombies. It was crazy. We were shooting in the Wailing Wall, which is a very sacred place in Israel, and there's tens of small teenage girls. And one of them just spotted him, and like you see, like in like a fire, everybody, hey, it's Yom Tumarkin, it's Yom Tumarkin, and he just tells us, take me to the bathroom now, take me to the situation, and it was like it's a zombie attack.
From a big biblical point of view, it's pretty authentic, isn't it? From what you actually cover, because you actually, the crawl at the beginning spells it out, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, while we were researching for this film, we found this quote from the Bible. Actually, it's from the Talmud that says. There are 3 gates to hell, one in the ocean, one in the desert, and one in Jerusalem. And this was just perfect for us.
That's for us the bingo.
That was it.
And then we knew that we have another place for the sequel and for the...
One in the desert and one in the ocean.
Yeah.
So trilogy in the ocean.
Jerusalem 2 is going to be in the desert. And
oh, so you really do see it as like a trilogy?
No,
a trilogy.
Yeah, but
we'll see.
I mean, was it difficult for you? I mean, was it? You've said that it was. I mean, getting the actors to watch, and it's a race. But other than that, what did you learn from this particular experience?
I went to film school, and they always teach you need to keep it in your budget, and to have just 2 actors in a room speaking to each other.
Especially when you have no budget.
Yeah. And this is why so many filmmakers, I think, in Israel are afraid to do this kind of films. They feel more secure doing drama or sometimes comedies. But we just decide, we're doing a lot of promos, TV commercials, stuff like that. We know how to work with CG. We had some really talented people working with us. And we just decide from the first stage, we're not going to be afraid. It's going to be Hollywood till the end.
And the interesting thing was that when you come to the people we worked with, the cameramen and all the CG guys and everyone, and they see this project with this big inspiration, they all want to join in and they do their best and working 200%, not 100%.
All joking aside, what are you going to do next? I mean, if there's no trilogy, are you going to stay in the genre? Is this it?
Yeah, we are working now on our next feature film together with Shaked and Epic Pictures, and it's actually a sci-fi film. Yeah,
psychological thriller, sci-fi with the local angle again. So we believe, although you need to speak internationally to deal with international global subjects, you always need to find your own personal perspective, like with our interpretation of the local zombies movie, like we did in Jerusalem. Our next movie is going to be also.
And that's why it's a success, because you do make it local, although you actually have a universal message with it.
We hope so. We believe that you can't be something you're not. Yeah. You need to use the global tools and language of cinema, but you need to find your own angle.